Global markets are in freefall as oil prices soar to unprecedented heights and China's once booming economy collapses overnight. The world is watching in disbelief as the financial landscape shifts beneath our feet. That's the headline flashing across every major news network, dominating every screen and conversation. The sense of urgency is palpable, with anchors scrambling to keep up with the rapidly unfolding events. It's not a movie. It's not a drill. This is the real world, and the crisis is happening right now, in real time. The world has been hit by a double disaster, one that no one saw coming and few were prepared for. Oil prices are rocketing sky high, sending shockwaves through industries and households alike. Every drop of fuel now comes at a premium, and the impact is immediate. Meanwhile, China's economy, one of the largest and most influential on Earth, is spiraling downwards, dragging global supply chains and markets with it. The sense of panic is everywhere. On trading floors, in offices, and on the streets, anxiety is spreading like wildfire. People are glued to their phones, desperate for updates, searching for answers, and hoping for good news that never seems to come. News tickers flash red alerts. Leaders scramble for answers, holding emergency meetings and press conferences as they try to calm the public and stabilize the situation. Airliners are grounded as fuel costs triple, stranding travelers and halting global movement. The skies are eerily quiet, a stark reminder of how interconnected our world truly is. Stock markets open to freefall, with investors watching in horror as their fortunes evaporate in minutes. The financial shock is felt in every corner of the globe. This is no ordinary crisis. It's happening in real time, touching every corner of life. Families, businesses, and entire communities are feeling the strain. From the busiest cities to the quietest towns, everyone is asking, what just happened? How did things unravel so quickly? How did the world's economy unravel so fast? Experts are debating, analysts are searching for explanations, but clear answers are hard to find. The story starts with two massive shocks, one in the oil markets, the other in China. Together, they've triggered a chain reaction that's still unfolding. The coming hours and days will test families, businesses, and governments like never before. Decisions made now will shape the future for years to come. How did we get here? And what happens next? The answers will define a generation as the world stands on edge, waiting for what comes after the storm. An oil shock is sudden. It can strike without warning, catching everyone off guard. From industry experts to everyday drivers, it means the price of oil surges in a matter of days, sometimes even hours. One moment things seem normal. The next, the numbers on the gas station sign are spinning upward, and headlines scream about record highs. Oil is the world's lifeblood. It fuels cars, heats homes, and powers factories. Every corner of modern life depends on it, from the food we eat to the goods we buy. When oil prices leap, everything else gets more expensive. The cost of transporting goods rises, and those costs ripple through every aisle of the supermarket. Imagine paying twice as much for gas overnight. That's just the beginning. Suddenly your daily commute and weekend plans cost a lot more. The reasons might be war, supply cuts, or political fights in oil-rich countries. Tankers stop moving, refineries slow down. The flow of oil that keeps the world running is interrupted, and uncertainty spreads. Each drop of oil becomes more precious and costly. Companies scramble to secure supplies, and competition drives prices even higher. Businesses race to cover rising costs. Airlines hike ticket prices, making travel less affordable for everyone. Even a simple vacation becomes a luxury. Trucking companies pass costs to stores. Grocery bills climb, deliveries slow down, and shelves may not be as full as before. Workers demand higher wages to afford basics. Strikes and protests become more common as families struggle to keep up with rising expenses. But companies can't keep up. Some start firing employees. Layoffs ripple through industries, and job security vanishes for many. Suddenly, a price shock feels like an earthquake moving through the whole economy. Markets tumble, and uncertainty grows. History shows us the pain. Economic crises triggered by oil shocks have left deep scars on societies around the world. In the 1970s, an oil shock led to long gas lines and lost jobs. People waited for hours just to fill their tanks, and unemployment soared. Today, with global trade, the impact is even faster and wider. A shock in one region can send waves across continents in minutes. No one is safe when oil becomes scarce and costly. From families to businesses, the effects are felt everywhere, reminding us just how connected and vulnerable our world truly is. China's economy isn't just big, it's gigantic. For decades, it was the engine pulling the world forward. But now, something's gone wrong. Factories have slowed, construction sites are silent, exports have dried up. The Chinese miracle has hit a wall. Why did this happen? Debt piled up. Real estate bubbles burst. Major companies went bankrupt. Trade wars battered exports. Millions lost their jobs. Trust in banks and government faded. People started saving instead of spending. That made the slowdown even worse. When China crashes, the world feels it. China buys oil, raw materials, and cars from everywhere. If China stops buying, other economies lose business. Factories in Germany, Brazil, and the United States feel the pain. It's a chain reaction. The world depended on China for growth. Now, with China in trouble, the global economy faces a sudden and deep freeze. Suddenly, things that once felt normal are no longer easy. Everyday routines are disrupted, and simple comforts now seem out of reach. Families wake up to find their energy bills have doubled overnight, forcing them to make tough choices about heating, cooling, and even lighting their homes. Grocery stores raise food prices, making it harder for families to afford the basics. Shoppers compare prices, putting items back on the shelf. Parents cancel long-awaited vacations because airline tickets are now out of reach. Dreams of travel are put on hold, replaced by worry. Small business owners wonder if they can pay next month's rent. Fear spreads as empty stores become more common, and communities lose their local shops. Students see tuition rise as schools struggle with higher costs. Many worry about taking on more debt or even dropping out. Hospitals warn about shortages of medicines and supplies, many of which come from China. Doctors and nurses scramble to make do with less. Factories lay off workers or close altogether, straining local communities. Families lose their main source of income, and uncertainty grows. People delay buying cars and homes. Neighborhoods feel the shock as for sale signs linger and dealerships sit empty. Local cafes see fewer customers. Owners worry if they'll make it through the month, and favorite gathering spots grow quiet. Delivery drivers pay more for gas, but earn less from each job. Every trip becomes a calculation, and some consider quitting. Public transport gets crowded as people ditch their cars to save money. Commutes grow longer and more stressful. Stress and worry become part of daily life. Everyone feels squeezed, and anxiety hangs in the air. The crisis is no longer just in news headlines. It's something people live and feel every day. It's at every dinner table, every checkout line, every job site. The sense of crisis is everywhere, touching every part of life. Usually one crisis is hard enough, but now, oil prices are soaring at the same time China's economy crashes. This isn't just two problems, it's one giant disaster. Each problem makes the other worse. When oil becomes expensive, China can't afford to buy it. Factories there slow even more, deepening the crash. As China buys less from the world, countries like Australia, which sells iron ore, and Saudi Arabia, which sells oil, lose big customers. Their economies weaken too. Falling demand means even more layoffs. Stock markets tank. Banks grow nervous. Investors pull out money, afraid of what's next. Countries start blaming each other, raising tariffs and restricting trade. Trust and cooperation break down. It is a vicious cycle. The two crises feed off each other, spinning faster and faster. The world economy feels like a ship caught in a hurricane, taking on water from every side. As the crisis deepens, businesses everywhere struggle for survival. Car makers just can't get parts from China. Clothing stores, well, they face empty shelves. Restaurants are paying more for every delivery. Profits just vanish. Some companies go bankrupt, while others are forced to lay off staff. Banks start to worry too. With so many loans unpaid, their balance sheets begin to crack. Lending freezes up. Small businesses can't get credit, and home buyers can't get mortgages. This freeze spreads like frost, chilling new investments. Even tech giants feel the pain. Their stock prices drop, projects pause, and job offers disappear. Pension funds lose value, and retirees watch their savings shrink. It's a chain reaction, like dominoes falling, each failure triggering the next. The crisis tumbles from business to bank, from neighbor to neighbor, and honestly, no one knows where it will end. Leaders everywhere are facing some really tough choices. Should they bail out banks and businesses, cut taxes, or maybe raise spending? Some rush to hold emergency meetings, central banks slash interest rates, while others print money, hoping to jumpstart growth. But, the tools don't always work. Oil prices are set by global markets, and China's crash is just too big for quick fixes. Some countries turn inward, putting up barriers to protect their own jobs. Others call for international cooperation, but trust is, well, pretty low. Protests erupt in the streets as people demand answers and help. Governments feel the heat. Some leaders rise to the moment, while others stumble or lose public support. Global cooperation is needed, but it's hard to achieve. Each country faces its own pain. The world's leaders are tested like never before. The next moves will shape the crisis and the recovery. No one is left untouched. Workers fear layoffs. Shoppers are looking for bargains, but they find only higher prices. Homeowners watch interest rates jump, and renters worry about eviction. Retirees have to cut back on spending. Graduates struggle to find jobs. Young families delay buying homes. Healthcare becomes more expensive and, honestly, harder to find. Even basics like food, fuel, and medicine become precious. People help neighbors, share rides, and cut luxuries wherever they can. Communities adapt as best they can. Some open food banks or start local markets, while others band together for energy savings. Hope isn't lost, but it's definitely harder to find. The crisis is real, and it's everywhere. But so is resilience. People look for solutions, both big and small, to survive the storm. So, what should we watch for next? Rising oil prices at the pump, news of big Chinese companies closing, falling stock markets, banks tightening up on loans, government emergency meetings, protests or strikes in the streets. People can prepare by saving money, reducing debt, building community support. Governments must watch for early signs of trouble, act quickly, and work with others. Global problems need global solutions, cooperation, not conflict. The world has faced crises before and survived. But honestly, this one is different. It's faster, bigger, and more connected. Staying informed, united, and ready to adapt is the best way forward. The next moves, by leaders and by ordinary people, will decide how deep the crisis goes and how quickly the world can recover.